Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Truth Podcast. And with me this week is Kevin Bostrom. I am so excited to have you on today. Thank you for doing this for us.
Thank you. I'm excited and honored to be here.
Oh, man, it's going to be awesome. We got so many good people lined up and so many stories and things like that. And just want to hear how you became an entrepreneur. What was the driving, motivating factor behind that? And then, we'll go into other things after that.
Okay, awesome. So just start from the beginning?
Yeah, start from the beginning.
All right. For me personally, 31 years old, West Michigan native, graduated from Fruitport High School. My whole life, I grew up playing sports. I played baseball for, I think, 12 years. I played basketball for 5 years. I was really good at bowling when I was a kid. I used to do youth leagues. So then I actually got into professional bowling for about 5.5 years after I graduated high school. Yeah, so my early to mid 20s, I did some professional bowling, traveled a lot, and I had a lot of fun doing that. I got to see a lot of the country and got to meet a lot of really cool people. But when I was growing up, playing a lot of sports, my dad actually owns a business, and I worked for him for a long time. So I kind of had like the business owner, entrepreneur mindset from when I was young. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom, took care of my sister and I. So my sister and I are only 16 months apart. She's a little bit older than me, so we're really close. And my mom was always like a stickler when it came to school. My sister always had like straight A's, perfect attendance. So that was like setting a high bar for me. The standard was so high that when I was in high school, I never missed a single day of high school in 4 years.
Wow.
I got the perfect attendance award. My first 3 years of high school, I had some tardies or I left class a little early or whatever sometimes. So, that was, I didn't get the award because I got marked tardy so many times because I would take my time getting to class or whatever. But that was, all that came from my mom because she was such a stickler on making sure you're there and you're doing your homework and all this. And, during the summer when all the other kids and all the other friends in our neighborhood would be outside playing or playing video games or whatever, my mom would have my sister and I inside, at a young age in elementary school doing math problems and taking these time tests. So when I was doing it in school, I was so good at it that I was actually put into advanced math classes because I was so good at math and I was so far ahead of everybody else. But I started working for my dad when I was young, just cleaning up his shop, pushing a broom, washing cars or whatever. He owns a body shop. So I was always around cars. And when I was growing up, when I got to high school or even after high school, when I worked for him, people would, if they had car problems or if they would get in an accident, or need something done on their car, they would always hit me up like, hey, this is what's going on. Can you help me out? So I'm, yeah, I got you. So, working for him, I actually worked for him for a while, a few years during high school. When I turned 16, I got a job as a, dishwasher busboy at Bob Evans. So I was cleaning tables and doing dishes. I turned 18. I didn't work at Bob Evans for too long, but then I went back to working for my dad after school and during the summers. When I was 18, just graduated high school, I got a job at a car dealership, cleaning cars there. And I was only there for about 6 months, maybe. And I left and went back to work for my dad. And then I was with him for about 8.5 years, actually.
Wow.
So I started college. I went to Muskegon Community College. The first year I went full time. I was taking a lot of classes, and I was doing well in college. I was using scholarship money, so it wasn't really costing me anything to go to school because I was awarded all these scholarships for academics and stuff. So I was going for business management. So, growing up working for my dad and seeing what he, was doing and the freedom that he had to be able, whenever I had sporting events or whatever, he was able to leave work and he was able to be there. And I always thought, when I'm older and I have a career, I want to be able to do that, have a family and be able to go, I want to have kids and be able to go to sporting events and all that. So I saw that vision when I was younger growing up. I'm like, cool, my parents are at all of my sporting events, every single baseball game, every basketball game. I actually, one time freshman year, I missed the bus to go to a game that was about almost 2 hours away. My teacher actually wouldn't let me out of class, and I didn't want to leave class because if I left class and she marked me absent, I knew my mom would be mad. So I stayed there. I missed the bus. My sister gave me a ride home after school right away. Hopped in the truck. My dad drove all the way up to the game. I got there 5 minutes after the bus did, and I still was able to play the game. But
that's dedication.
Right. So, I was like, a lot of other kids, they would have just been at home. They wouldn't be able to, hitch a ride up there to still get to the game. So, it was really cool to grow up and experience that, So, after I started going to college, business management, I hated college. I hated sitting in class for hours at a time, going home and doing homework for hours at a time, or even days at a time. And I just worked part-time while I was going to college full-time. So my second year, I bought a new truck. I was working full-time for my dad. So I was taking a couple night classes. Well, at this point, I'm bowling all the time, bowling in like leagues, getting really good at bowling. And people were noticing and like, oh, you should, take a look at bowling these professional tournaments and stuff. And I'm like, well, whatever. So I actually, I think it was like after my second or third week of one of these night classes, I just stopped going. I didn't go back. I finished the other one, and then I just never went back to school. So I was probably 3/4 of the way to my associate's degree for business management, and I just never went back. So wow. To this day, I still don't have a college degree. I'm just figuring things out as I go, really. So I worked for my dad for 8.5 years from the time I went back to working after that car dealership until the day I decided to quit. And what had happened was I had one position there, like entry-level position. I did it for a long time. And then, somebody left his business and I got promoted. So, finally after years of doing the same job, I got promoted. So I was kind of like a shop manager, parts manager. I ordered everything for the shop. I was in charge of inventory, moving things around. So it was a pretty important job, making sure things are done correctly. And, after about 4.5 years of doing that, I got a raise when I got promoted to that position. And after about 4.5 years, I was still doing that. And I had asked for a raise. I asked my dad for a raise about 4 times, and he was denying me, denied. So finally, I was like, I asked him for a raise, and I was just sick of my job, right? So at this time, I had already had my own part-time business for about 2 years almost. So I got into health and fitness. I became a distributor with a nutrition company, and I had really good results. Like when I graduated high school, I was 135, 140 pounds. I was really scrawny, struggled to gain weight. And I actually, even when I was in my mid-20s, I was still only about 150 pounds. I worked out all the time, didn't eat great. One of my friends, a good friend of mine, introduced me to these supplements, these protein shakes and all these different supplements. I started taking them as his client, and I got amazing results on them. I felt great. So people started noticing naturally. So I started going to these free workouts he was doing. I got in even better shape, started bringing people with me. And he said, hey, look, you have an opportunity here. These people want what you have. Either I can make the money or you can make the money. And I'm like, well, shoot, I'd like to make some extra money. I just got denied a raise, for the 4th time. But this time it was like 3 times. So, I started making some extra money doing this part-time around my full-time job and professional bowling and traveling. And, almost 2 years later, I asked my dad for a raise for the 4th time. And he said no. And this is, in the middle of the week. And I said, well, if I'm not going to get a raise, and I'm done. And he said, well, you're not going to get a raise. In the middle of the week, and I was having one of those days where I'd had it. My part-time job, my part-time like side hustle, basically, I was making decent money, about $1,500 a month, which was about how much I was making taking home, working for my dad. So I was like, well, I'm making just as much doing this part-time, and I actually love to do this. I love to help people. I love, fitness and nutrition, working out. So, I might as well just do that. At this point, I didn't really want to stay and work for my dad. I didn't really care for that career anymore, and I had enough that, I quit. So it's funny because it was a Wednesday when I quit, and I came back the next day on Thursday to pick up my paycheck, and he said, well, you can't cash it until Friday because we don't get paid until Friday. I said, that's fine, then I just don't have to come back tomorrow. And I had no idea what to do that day because I'd never, had a free time like that. I didn't know how to work for myself full time. So, on this Thursday, I get up and I go to the gym, and I'm like, well, now what do I do? I had no idea what to do. So, all I did was work one-on-one with clients at that time. We did our workouts, and that was it. And that was only a few nights a week. So, I was like, all right, well, came back to get my paycheck, and he said, take the weekend to think about it. If you want to keep your job, come back on Monday. I said, well, am I going to have a raise on Monday? He said, no. I said, well, I'm not coming back. And that was it. Fired my dad, not my boss anymore. So, wow. It was a really, really bold and risky move. I was nervous about it, and I had a mortgage, I had a car payment, insurance, I had to eat. So basically, everything I was making at that time was already spent. I had to figure it out. So, full time, started doing it. And it was a struggle, a long time. I had to really build my business up. It's a network marketing business, multi-level marketing. So, the more people that I helped, get results on weight loss or whatever, the more money I would make, or the more people that I introduced it to, the more money I would make. So, after, it was crazy because I had my biggest month ever that month that I quit. So I'm like, I'm good. My business is building. Like, I'm good. Well, then after that, my business went down. So then it was like a real struggle. I had to figure out how to pay the bills. So I was hustling to, get new clients and help more people and get more people to work out in the community. And so this was, 4.5 years ago when this happened. And, from then to now, it's been so many different changes. I've done things a lot differently. I've made a lot of mistakes. But I figured it out for the most part. I'm still figuring things out, but what happened from then to now has been absolutely incredible, and I wouldn't change it for anything. I've built a lot.
Do you think, because everybody looks at everybody that has success as it's an overnight success,
right?
What would you say to that?
Definitely not overnight. There were times where, where people see my business doing well, but what they didn't know was I was living off the shakes that I was selling to people. I had canisters of shakes at home, and I would drink a couple shakes a day, and I was eating like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because I was, financially I was broke, and mentally I wasn't super strong yet. I was, I was still pretty new to personal development. And I was learning how to develop myself and how to become a better businessman, a better leader for other people, and really trying to figure that out. So what I had to figure out how to do was not just sell people products, but like really learn people and learn how to coach people, learn how to inspire people and keep them motivated. And, that was attracting more and more people. And, the longer that I did that, I just kept talking and talking and talking and talked to more people. So when I was in school, I was a quiet kid. I never really talked in class. I'd try to sit in the back. I wouldn't raise my hand. I didn't want to read. I didn't want to answer questions. I didn't want to go in front of the class. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to speak. So when I started going to these workouts, and it started out with I would share my result. So we would talk about how your results are. And it started with, hi, hey, my name's Kevin. I've been a part of this community for a year, and I've been, using the products for a year, and I've put on, 10 pounds of muscle, or I've dropped my body fat percentage, or whatever it was, whatever my results were. I would start with that. Well, then, I came into the role where I was taking over a little bit, doing these workouts where I had to step up and speak every time. So, I was so nervous. I didn't know what to say. And the more I did it, the better I got at speaking, and the more excited I got about it. Like, man, I did better this time than I did last time. And it became like an addiction. Like, I was so excited that I was getting better and seeing progress within myself. Next thing you know, we have, when we go to our trainings, I'm being asked to speak on stages in front of hundreds of people, and even sometimes 1,000+ people. And then we have our bigger trainings where there's thousands of people. And I'm being asked to speak on stage in front of them. Even, last year at our extravaganza event, there was, 25,000 people or whatever there, and I was on stage and I was speaking on stage. And,
Wow.
At that point, you're in a football stadium and you can't even see people's faces because it's so big in there. So, so many little changes along the way, and like progressions along the way, that a lot of the sacrifices and a lot of things I did to overcome these fears, and it really paved the way for me.
What did you do? Because I know there's a lot of times, and I go through this. I know a lot of the people that I interview go through this. It's called the Imposter Syndrome, where you kind of know, like, who am I and who's going to listen to me and what am I doing here type thing.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine. It happens. But I mean, what did you do to overcome that? And do you have that sometimes still even?
I did have that quite a bit. I'm like, these people are so much better at this than me, and why am I doing this? Why do these people, why would they listen to me when these people are so much better at it, or they have more experience at it? But then I realized that I had a gift to give, and I was being asked to take on these roles for a reason, and people saw something in me that I didn't see at that time. So, when I was asked to, lead a station at the workout, or lead the workout, or speak at these events, like, people saw like the success I was having, and they saw that I was becoming a different person, becoming a leader, and they wanted to hear my side of the things too. So I got to share a lot of that, which was super cool.
That is so cool. I mean, when you overcome things, and you, like you said, you were eating peanut butter and jelly, and people never even knew that that was going on behind the scenes. It's an incredible story from where you came from, for your parents always being there for you. Some people don't have that. You had a really good upbringing and a really good base, so that was good. What kind of fears did you personally go through while you were developing? Because I personally believe that your business will only grow as much as you do.
Right.
So, I mean, I know there's steps and levels and things like that, but at every level, there's a different thing that you have to conquer.
There's a new
get to that.
Yeah.
Every level, new devil type thing.
Yep, I was going to say that. Yep.
So, if you can tell, because I really want people that are either struggling right now to be an entrepreneur, or they're contemplating being an entrepreneur. We want to get in depth on the breaking down the barriers and crushing those fears and the things that you did to overcome, because I consider you a very successful person. A very successful person right now. And at your age, this is amazing. You have a whole life ahead of you that has so much, where some people are just in a shop or in a job or in a place that they don't like, and you get to do what you love every day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even like today, I had a day off and I was still working. Like, I don't take days off. So right. Some of the fears that I had, I didn't want to fail. There were so many people that would say, oh, like, that doesn't work, you're never going to make it in this, and, you can't make any money doing this, and, blah, 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 blah. And I sometimes, like, I'd be like, man, are they right? like I had those fears because I didn't have the financial success at the time.
Right.
But really, we didn't have the system. It wasn't a matter of the opportunity, because there's people everywhere around us that really need this opportunity, and they really need what we have. We're in the business of inspiring and helping people, and helping people with their nutrition and their fitness goals and stuff like that. So people all around us, obviously obesity in the United States and all around the world is very high. A lot of people are overweight. A lot of people have health issues. And so I knew when I would go to my trainings every single month, my cup would get refilled. And I would listen to what these people are saying and hear the success that they're having. I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. I after a little while, I got into that state where if they can do it, I can do it. Or if they can do it, I can do it better than they can do it. Because if they're doing this, all I have to do is talk to more people.
And do what they are doing. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like finding a mentor, basically, and emulating what they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had some great mentors, but that one of the biggest things was I quit my full-time job for this, and my dad would say like, oh, this place is hiring, you should go there and apply. And I'm like, no. And he knew I was struggling. I wouldn't do some of the things that I did before because I didn't have a steady income. I didn't have a steady paycheck. So, but I always had it in my head, like, I'm not ever going to quit doing this. One, I'm never going to quit drinking these shakes. I'm never going to quit taking these products, because what it did for me, the results I had from it, that I was attached to it. The other thing was the opportunity that, I heard people's success stories, and I'm like, okay, if these people can make this much money, when I'm making, my parents actually got divorced. So, when I was in my mid-20s, so 6 or 7 years ago, probably. Maybe 7, 8 years ago now. I don't even know how long it's been, but my dad, like, he's got his business. He's successful with that. My mom was a stay-at-home mom who didn't have a college education, who was now working a full-time minimum wage job. And I'm like, I didn't have a great relationship with my dad for a while, and which now I do, because I understand things better. And like, I don't blame either of them for anything. So I've always had this where after they got divorced, went separate ways, I'm like, my mom has always been there for me, and I want to be able to give back to her. And I know if I'm working a job that's paying me hourly, I'm limited on what I can make. So, especially working for my dad. So
as you found out.
Right. Didn't give me a raise 4 times. So, at this point, I'm like, this opportunity, I've seen the success stories, I've seen what's possible, and I love doing it. So I'm not going to quit, because it's whether I get paid or not, I want to do this, for one. But two, I have the opportunity to become more personally and to be able to earn more, and I can support my mom and financially as well, and help her retire. So one of the coolest, probably the coolest thing that I've ever been able to accomplish is a few months ago, back in June, I bought my mom a new car. So her car is 15 years old. It's like it was like brand new. I mean, great condition. Only had 80,000 miles on it. She's like, keeps her stuff immaculate. Her house is perfectly clean. Her car looked brand new. But it's this is Michigan. I live 45 minutes away from her now. And, in the wintertime, she needs a 4-wheel drive, something that sits up a little higher. So that's safer, that's newer. So that way I don't have to worry about anything happening to her. So I took her to the dealership, and, I said, I want to come just show you some cars, see what you like, if you want to test drive something. So we went to the dealership. She test drove some cars. She loved a couple of them. And I said, well, what color would you want? Had the salesman, talking to her. She said, well, I don't really care what color it is. This one, whatever. One of those colors. I just want the black rims and heated seats. So I have a smartphone, so she's like really old school. She just wants heated seats because she's always cold, and and she just thought the black rims were really cool, that they look good on it. So we go inside and talking to the salesman. She said, well, he thinks we're going to buy this car today. I said, I am buying this car today. I said, you're driving it home. So that was like the coolest thing, you know, and it's got like where her phone, they connected her phone to it so she can just push a button and call, you know, whoever, and it'll dial it for her. So it was about 20 minutes after she left the dealership. She was on her way home and she got stuck in construction where she was just stopped on the highway and her car shuts off because it's got the auto stop thing on it.
Auto stop. My mom has that.
So
it freaked me out the first time though.
Yeah. So my phone rings and I'm like, oh great, she's calling me already, you know. So I answered it, you know, I'm thinking there's something wrong. So, I just wanted to see if this phone works, you know, and I'm sitting in traffic and my car just shut off because I'm stuck in construction, and I was just laughing about it because, you know, she's so funny, just testing out to see how the phone works in there and everything. But, you know, and then the week after that, I actually took her to Hawaii for a vacation.
Wow.
For a week. So, you know, to be able to buy her a car one day and then a week later take her to Hawaii for a vacation that she doesn't have to pay anything for it. It was a promotion that I qualified for through our company. And so I got to go for free, and I extended the stay, and I paid for her to come with me. So, you know, because she loves it. She's been to Hawaii a few times and she loves it there. So to be able to take her there, I think the experience of being there with her and being able to do that for her is far more important to her than the physical things, you know, getting the car. You know, she loves the car. She's, you know, that thing's like still looks like it came off the showroom floor, but being able to do things like that are far more important to me and to her. So super cool to do that. So
there was a thing that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just had a really good thought because me and Andy was talking about this. So Andy was on the show. That'll be airing today, and then this will be on next week.
Yeah.
He was saying about when he was growing up about rich people, about how people talked about rich people or people that were well off, people that had money and stuff like that. And I just wanted to say that you are the perfect example of the opposite of that. You know what I mean? Because some people look at rich people like they stepped on people to get there. They, you know, they're slimy, they're this, they're that. And in your subconscious, if you believe that deep down, you will fight, you'll sabotage yourself not to become that. Right. And I want people to see somebody that's a good person, that takes care of his mother, that takes her to Hawaii, that buys her a car, and does all these things for people and is well off, comes on my show and just, you know, oh yeah, I'll do it. You know, just a really, really good person. So if you guys are out there and you have this feeling like, you know, I don't really want to be that person. Everybody's told me these people are terrible people and everything. I want you to look at Kevin and I want you to see that that is not the case.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been so driven by, you know, not really driven by like wanting to be successful, but I was driven by wanting to prove other people wrong for one, and driven by driven by because I'm a Ruby, if you know the personality types. Like I'm a Ruby and I'm a Pearl as well. So like, oh yeah, let's go. But you know, also when people are like, oh, you're gonna fail, you know, I'm the type that's like, screw you, you know, I'm gonna prove you wrong. You know, that's my athletic side coming out, where I was always playing sports and I wanted to be better than everybody else, you know. I'm super competitive, so I wanted to prove everybody wrong, and at the same time, by doing that, I'm helping people. So I'm helping people.
That's the amazing part too. And when you get to a level, and I know I've talked to other people and other people that own businesses, different things like that, that you share a mindset after a while. Yeah. And it becomes not a competition, but wanting to help each other, wanting to be there for each other, trying to see how we can, you know, maybe make time for the next one if they're having a problem or an issue or a hurdle they have to jump that we've been through. Mm-hmm. We're there to help. I mean, it's a whole different mindset when you get up and become a leader, when you are an entrepreneur, when you are somebody that is in a position to help someone else, you know. Becomes less competition and more compassion.
Right. Yeah, and I I've done a lot of free things along the way, free workouts, going to schools and doing free workouts with kids and just taking, basically volunteering and donating time to do these things. And I actually, my business grew, part of my business grew because of that. So now, yeah, it was because people saw that and they were like, wow, this is cool that these people are taking the time to do this, and they would see the results and how much fun we're having and stuff. So then, like, they really appreciated it. So it was really cool. So, and I was always grateful to be able to go, to the schools and do that and help at like the Boys and Girls Club and stuff like that, because some of these kids, like, we would go to, Muskegon elementary schools, and these kids desperately need role models in their life, and we were role models for a lot of them, where we'd come in there, we'd work out with them like Major Payne, and run.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'd have them work out, but then we would play basketball with them and stuff like that too, and have fun with them. So, they got to see that, even if their life at home isn't great or outside of school or whatever, like, there's still, good people around that can show them a different kind of life. So,
and that's a passion of mine too. And at some point, we'll talk about that sometime else, because I got some ideas that I want to kick around with you later. Yeah. But the kids are our future, and the people that they see and the role models they have will build their own story. Well, I'm big on that. My whole thing is, what's your story? And the story can mean a lot of different things. One is who you are right now, but also your story is the characters that are in your life and in your story that are telling you, like, who you are, you can't do this. You were mentioning that, that you can't do this, they can't do this. And if you get that mindset, you are able to overcome that. If you get that mindset, that becomes your story.
Yeah.
And my goal is, no matter if they were pinned as a jock or a nerd or whatever, the verbiage is nowadays, right, I want them to be able to change their story. I want them to be able to see you and see different people and say, wow, that's what's possible for me.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I want this show to do for other people that are watching and saying, I can't do that. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a public speaker. I'm not. That becomes your story. That's who you are. When you start saying those things, that's who you become.
Right.
And the sad part is that most of us don't see ourselves as other people see us. We look in the mirror, we see every flaw that we have. Mm-hmm. But other people look at us and say, "Man, that's an amazing dude,"
Yeah.
But you don't see that. So all your insecurities and everything that you've been fed your entire life is your story. And what we want to do is we want to break through subconscious barriers. We want to break through the barriers that people are telling you negative stuff like they told you. And that's what this is all about, is trying to help people to overcome so they can become the person they want to be and change their story to something that ends like your story right now.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about this. So
you really create your own story. I mean, I've gone through a lot of struggles over the last, 6 years since I started, doing this business, and I've come a long ways. I've gone through a lot of personal struggles. I still do. I still make a ton of mistakes. I'm still dealing with some of them. And
we all do. Yeah, we all. I mean, okay. So last week I'm writing this thing and I spell my guest's name wrong on YouTube. I have the artwork done. I get it back and the entrepreneur is spelled wrong. So I have to go get the artwork done again. And mind you, I've told everybody this is coming out on my birthday. It's coming out Wednesday, and we're having all these struggles to get out. We got it out, though. We got it out.
Oh, that's what matters. Yeah. And the biggest thing for me, one of the biggest ways to overcome, struggles, and, there's days where I struggle big time, and I have a hard time, like, mentally preparing myself for things, and, some of the battles I go through. And I think my biggest way of overcoming it, one, is working on myself, personal development. I'll listen to podcasts like this. I'll listen to a podcast, or I'll listen to, some kind of leadership or business or whatever podcast, spiritual, anything, you know, and, you know, or read something, personal development. The other thing is work. I'll make myself so busy that I don't have time to feel sorry for myself, or I don't have time to doubt myself.
There's
I'll
one
just
thing.
work.
Oh, sorry.
That's
There's one thing that I think that if you, I know you care. I do. I can see it. I know you care about the people that are with you in your organization, those type of things. If you can picture those people as an avatar, just say that that person is someone you just picture in your mind. And every time you get to that point of struggle, think of what they would have lost without you.
right. Yeah.
Because that's power.
Yeah. So I have to like continue to remind myself, like I get to raise my lid, you know, to hold for all these people, because my organization is always growing.
Right.
Like there's always more people coming in, like our nutrition clubs, there's more people coming in every day that they might hate their job, or they might have something going on in their life. And when they come in the doors, like I get to be that light for them. So that's,
Yes.
I love what I do. I love standing behind the bar and talking to people and you know, serving them, you know, their healthy breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. And that's like, I love what I do every single day.
Now, see, that's the thing. And most people don't get to do that. Most people go to the 9 to 5, or, well, for me, it's 7 to 3. But anyway, you know, they go do their thing, you know, and all day long they're just working for somebody else and not getting fulfilled out of that. I mean, I'm not talking, because some people go to work and they love it. They love what they do. That's not who I'm talking to. You know, there's people that are going to say, oh, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
But I was going to get to the nutrition clubs, because now you own those, right? Or one or two, I'm not sure.
2 of them, yep.
Nice.
Yep.
So, if they wanted to find you, where are they located at? Because I want to get that out there. I want people to be able to come to you and talk to you and be able to, you know, see what you're doing and stuff.
Yeah. So the first one I opened just over 2 years ago. It's in Muskegon. It's Lakeshore Nutrition over on Harvey Street. So it's right up the street from the mall, 4851 Harvey.
Right across the street from the old race, the horse race place.
Yep.
And hopefully a casino in the next 50 years.
I've been waiting for it, hopefully. My newer location just opened. It's been about 8 months ago now, in Byron Center, Michigan. So it's like the southwest side of Grand Rapids. So it's right on Byron Center Avenue, pretty much right in town. And I split my time between the two. And
what was the address for the Byron Center location? You don't know? It's okay.
5855, I think. Byron Center Avenue.
You know what, folks? That's what Google is for.
Yeah. And you know, I'm on the go so much that I don't even know my home address half the time. Like, so yeah, you know, sometimes I'm working from here, I'm catching up on stuff, and you know, I'm back and forth, because you know, where I live, it's 45 minutes from Lakeshore. It's 25 minutes from Byron Center, so I'm not close to either of them. So, and they're 45 minutes to an hour apart, depending on traffic. So, you know, I spend a lot of time driving.
So if you guys are out there and you want to lose weight, you want to be more fit, you want to increase your health, energy, and nutrition, I want you to go to Kevin. Kevin is outstanding at what he does. He has a great story, and he's a very good person, and I think he would take care of you. So everybody out there that you are watching this or listening to this on whatever medium you are, then I want you to be able to go to Kevin and hit him up on this.
Yeah, I do my best, you know.
You do really well. I'm going to ask you a couple more things. One is, what advice would you give to, number one, the starting out entrepreneur, the one that is a entrepreneur at this point?
Take action. You know, what good is a dream if you don't take any action on it? You know, you need a vision. You have to have the goals, and you have to go after it. So if you just sit there and watch other people, you know, do the thing that you want to do, you're never going to get there. The biggest thing is just going out and making it happen. So whatever it is that you do, for me personally, you know, like that's taking massive action all the time. So, you know, I have a vision. I have goals, and I know, like, okay, in order for me to retire my mom to take care of her, I get to be this, I get to become this person, and I have to make this much money and able to take care of her, right?
Right.
So it just takes a lot of work. There's a lot of things I've given up. There's people say, oh, I want family time. I need family time. Family time is important. You know what the best family time is for me? Taking my mom to Hawaii. That's family time.
That's it right there.
She understands if I don't come over and I miss a football game on Sundays. A lot of times I would watch the Lions at my mom's house with my sister and my brother-in-law on Sundays.
Go Lions.
Every Sunday I get disappointed. It's weird. So, but there's a lot of things that I give up. It's my sister's birthday this Friday, and she texted me earlier, hey, are we going to dinner? And I said, well, I work until 7, if you want to go after that. Or I have a wedding Saturday I'm going to, or we can go to dinner on Sunday, whatever. Just rearranging my schedule. So, for me, a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of work. There is a lot of times where I'd be up late at night. I'd go to bed at like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and get back to work.
Yep,
so
that's what it is for me right now.
Take a quick break and get back to work.
Yep.
If you want to be successful, it takes hard, consistent. I don't want to say hard because I'm not doing hard work. I'm not digging ditches. I'm not, swinging a hammer or anything like that. It's more of consistent action, consistent work.
That makes sense. And
yeah.
There's something that really throws people, like if they get into a business like maybe like network marketing, like you were talking about, that delayed gratification is so hard for people. Mm-hmm. It's you're working so hard because you start finding out, hey, I'm working harder than I was working at the job. Yeah. And once you figure that out and you're not seeing the results right away, you're tempted to say, oh my God, the paycheck looks really good right now. I want to go back to that. That is one of the things that is really difficult when you're trying to build a business, when you're trying to do something, you're not getting anything coming in, or you're getting very little. It's difficult for those people. What advice would you give those people that are stuck at that point, that are like, I want this really bad, but I need the money as well. How do you balance that? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, obviously you have to pay the bills. I mean, yes. If you have a mortgage, if you have a car payment, if you have bills, like, you have to pay those. So whether it's working, your job, that your part-time job or full-time job while you get your business going, like that's fine. It's just going to be exhausting, but that's part of it.
Yeah, it is part of it.
Yeah, I used to hear, I heard this before at one of the trainings I was at, the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. And,
that is true.
Yeah, the bigger the problems I came across, like there were, if there was resistance for something, like it was because I was about to have a breakthrough.
Yep.
And same thing right now, lately it's been like, I've been like, oh man, this is stressing me out. This is, exhausting me. And I can see what's coming because, the business is about to explode again. It's about to, increase again. So, I'm aware that, I'm having these things that are coming up and these things that are coming into my life for a reason. Yep. So it's, it's things that are bigger problems for me. But I know once I get past them, it's going to be a breakthrough. So, that's the things you get to grow through. You're not going through it, you're growing through it.
Exactly. It's perseverance. It's knowing what you have to do on the inside and being able to just take that step, like you said, massive action. Yep. We were talking, I think Andy actually said this about me. He was like, yeah, when you say something within 2 weeks or a week, something's going on. You got something going right away. And it's like, you've got to do that though.
Taking action right away.
The dream will slip away. The longer you take to think about something and get it exactly right and all these things,
perish.
the more risk you have of being disheartened and quitting, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
been that way, and it's a struggle with everyone who wants to start a business, who is starting a business, who is like achieving little goals, but yet they don't have that massive income yet,
Right.
not even massive income, just income enough to pay the bills. Because
Right.
that's a turning point in your life.
Right. And it's also knowing like with when and if you do start to increase your business and your income, being smart with it, because there's been times where I'm like, holy smokes, I've never made this much money, this is way more than I ever made before. And I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go shopping, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna go do this, and then like my business would go back down. I'm like, oh shoot, I got stuff. It's
Whoops.
yeah, save for the times that your business isn't booming, because that's what happens in every business. It goes in waves. There's times when you're in momentum and your business is going to increase and you're going to make a lot of money, and then it's going to flatline and it's going to drop, and you're going to maybe you're not going to make so much money. Same thing, stock market, it's always up and down. Business is always up and down.
It's
Even
yeah.
every business does it, everyone. So
Yeah, but you get that money in your hand, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my God, I want to get this and this
yeah,
and this," and,
right.
and maybe not even for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's for other people and stuff, but you just got to stop yourself and say, "I don't know what next month's gonna be yet." So
Save it. Definitely save it. Invest it or something.
yeah,
Just don't
that's
don't
a good
spend it.
option.
Yeah.
So
So
that's really, really good advice.
yeah.
Yeah, really good advice. When you start getting successful, what do you do with it? How do you, I mean, because it's a lot of times like we were speaking about before with, am I that person who's going to listen to me? That type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you are that person and you still don't feel like that person. So you're still
Right.
like, yay, I can spend money now. That
Yeah.
happens to a
And
lot of
that
people.
yeah, that happens to me too sometimes. Now, sometimes people meet me. I've been guest speakers in different trainings and stuff. Back in May, they flew me down to Dallas Fort Worth to be the guest speaker at a training down there. And I'm up on stage, and like I'm the guest speaker, I'm the star, and people are like catering to me and stuff, and I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm like, I'm not used
What am
to,
I supposed to do with this?
right. So it's so crazy, going from I spent a couple years at our local trainings, where I was the head usher. So I was in charge of seating, setting up the chairs, making sure there were enough chairs for everybody, and if we needed more, getting them out and setting them up and all that. Like, just contribution
Yeah.
leads to greatness. So, if we needed something done, like, yeah, volunteer to do it. Volunteer to do everything, even if you're not getting paid for it. You
Yeah, I
know.
agree with that. I agree. I actually got a really good job volunteering once, so it was kind of nice. But
Yeah.
to end things, I think I just wanted to get your thoughts on the process of entrepreneurship and any more advice that you would want to give to anybody out there listening. And then, just feel free to say whatever you want, and we'll close it after that.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to be an entrepreneur, it's going to take a lot of hard work. To get to where I am today, I would consider myself successful. As successful as I want to be, no, but I'm on my way there. And I still go through the mental struggles, the mental roadblocks, the personal things, and everybody does it. Everybody goes through that throughout their life. So the key is to just work on overcoming that stuff and becoming a better version of yourself, becoming a better person every single day, and being able to hold for more people. A lot of that's why I'm super grateful for the community that I'm a part of, and the company that I'm a part of. Is they're really big on personal development. So when we have trainings, they always have a personal development section. It's my favorite part of the trainings every single time. So when the guest speakers up there, speaking about whatever they're speaking about, gratitude or vision or whatever, I'm always locked in and I'm taking notes. over anything else, over the DMOs, the daily method of operations, or whatever they're talking about, how to build business. Yes, I pay attention to that stuff too, and I pick and choose on what to implement into my business. But the biggest thing for me is always staying coachable. Listening to my mentors, staying coachable, people that have been there before, like they have experience and they know this stuff. So who am I to ignore them or think that my way of doing things are better? So, I've never once thought about giving up on doing this, even when times are tough. And, it was just a matter of becoming the person and having the system, because I was always willing to do the work. The work is the easy part. The work, I go out and talk to people. That part's simple. The hard part is every day having the right mindset of, I get to grow myself every single day. I get to do this every single day for these people. So that's the hard part, is working on yourself every single day, because it's easy to skip your podcast or whatever, your personal development. It's easy to skip that. What's easy to do is easy not to do.
That's true. That's true. I've heard that too.
Yeah, stick with it. So whatever it is that you want to do, keep your vision, keep your goals, and just keep working at them. So,
well, I really appreciate you coming on. I know your time is valuable, so I want to say thank you personally right here for doing this for me. I appreciate it. And
thank you.
So, all right, everybody, that was the Entrepreneurial Truth podcast for this week. I want to thank Kevin Bostrom for being here with us, and I hope that you got a lot out of this like I did, and we will see you next week.
Awesome.